There's an alternate history here where after World War II, the entire planet embraced nuclear power and basically never advanced past the 1950s in terms of like culture. So there's a very retro aspect to this. And essentially the biggest company to emerge during this time was called Vault Tech. Yeah. And this was a company that basically, because nuclear power was so prevalent, they created these things called vaults, which were basically very elaborate nuclear fallout shelters.
I want one.
All over the United States.
Yeah.
And in this alternate history, it's not Russia, it's China that America starts having, a Cold War with. And there's like a lot of conspiracies going around, but eventually there's a nuclear war where America and China basically just nuke the planet. And the people who are in the vaults, who basically paid their way to get in there, have been dwelling in the vaults for about 200 years. And at the start of the Fallout games and the TV show, there's always one person from the vault who ventures out into what's now called the wasteland, which is the surface. And they run into basically all types of like mutants and monsters and bad people. And with this show, basically it's written and produced by Jonathan Nolan. And he directed the first 3 episodes. He's Christopher Nolan's brother, also responsible for Westworld and Person of Interest. And basically we're following 3 characters throughout the wasteland, which is the vault dweller. I forget her name. Lucy. Then we have a knight in the Brotherhood of Steel, Maximus.
Yep.
And Brotherhood of Steel is kind of like this organization that has like power armor.
Yeah, they're kind of like religious Templars, basically, in the future.
Knights Templars, yeah. But they're based around technology as opposed to like religion. And then you have the Ghoul, who's kind of like this mercenary who has been affected by radiation and stuff like that. So these 3 come together over a bounty of a man who basically stole some technology that could be the key to saving the world. And it's just kind of about how they come together and deal with this obstacle. And if anyone's ever played the Fallout game, it's very much in line with like a typical Fallout game.
Yeah, it's the quest. You have to go search for somebody. Usually in a Fallout game, it's a family member or some sort, and they leave the vault, and you have to go after them and find out what happened to them, whether they got kidnapped or whatever.
And in this first episode, Lucy's father gets kidnapped, and she's like, "I'm going to go find him." So she goes out on her own.
Well, it starts off with her saying, like, I haven't been able to find a viable husband in our vault. I would like to propose to have like a trade with another vault, the vault next door. They're going to give me a husband. We'll give them a bunch of crops.
Yeah. It was an even trade. So there's always 3 vaults in a sector or whatever you want to call it.
Not always. This one in particular just had like 3 that they would.
Don't they always group them up together?
Nope, not in the game.
I mean, I watched the wrong YouTube video.
but it's funny because Lucy starts off and she's just like, that you can only make out with your cousin for so long.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was so funny
because they needed some fresh blood in the DNA pool.
Yeah. Yeah. So like they're stuck in the vault.
Otherwise, you end up on C, and that's a whole different.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Yeah, what is it? The blood runs thick.
Yeah.
We got Burlap twins. God, I miss them.
Oh God.
But anyway, so
Baxters, right? Was it the Baxter?
Yeah,
Baxter something or other. God, what a ridiculous show that was.
So the good people from Vault 32 come on over, and they bring their hunk with them. Lucy marries them, and as they are consummating their marriage, and everyone's distracted, the Vault dwellers start massacring everyone.
Yeah, the people from the other vault, it turns out that they were actually from the surface, and they infiltrated the other vault and then faked their way into this one.
Yeah. And
start killing everybody en masse. Lucy's new husband tries to murder her in their own house. Yeah. And she barely escapes. Like, it was rough for a minute. But it was funny because I'm watching this with my wife, and my wife has zero context for anything. I've played half of one of the games, but I've been doing a research lately just to kind of get my head wrapped around the whole world and everything. But there's a scene where Lucy gets stabbed in the gut by her husband, and it's like it's a knife, right? It is not, you're not messing around with this thing. It's a knife. It's like a Crocodile Dundee type thing. She gets stabbed all the way to the hilt, and then she freaking pulls it out. She escapes barely by like hitting him with a piece of glass. And
she gives herself a shot.
But that's the joke, though. Is like it's a syringe and a med kit. She shoots it in herself, and then she's like fine the rest of the show.
And they're called stim packs.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And my wife is like, that's so stupid. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. That's from the game. Like, you can have your arm blown off. You stem pack it. You're fine.
That's not the worst thing that happens while Lucy is with her new husband, though.
Yeah. Well,
so immediately after they have sex, they're laying there, they're like snuggling, and he gets up and he walks over to the window and he wipes his dick off with the curtain. Immediately, I was like, "There's a bad guy. He's gonna try to kill her."
Yeah, that's not cool.
So gross.
It's super gross. My wife did the same thing. She's like, "Ugh." He walks over
Not
the curtain,
cool.
wipes his dick off with the curtain, and then just stands there naked.
Yeah, he doesn't have any points into charm.
No, Lucy's just sitting there going like, "Well, that was weird."
Yeah.
My cousin never did that before.
Yeah.
But what's great about this show is basically like you got a couple different storylines going on. So there's this mystery about what's happening in the vaults, and Lucy's brother is kind of at the forefront of that. And by the way, that actor was on Jean-Claude Van Johnson. He was the guy with all the dreadlocks and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So like you got that story going on. Then you have like this story with the Brotherhood of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Maximus's story. And basically like he becomes a squire to one of the knights. And the knight played by Michael Rappaport, basically like
that's who it was.
Yeah.
I was like, is that Chris Penn?
Dude, no, it was the knight, his Titus or whatever his name is.
yeah.
Dude, I was watching it as soon as he took his helmet off, and I was like, oh, it's discount Bill Burr.
Right.
Okay.
It's 100% discount. Oh, you fucking idiot. Why'd you do that to me? You're the reason why I'm dying. God damn it, why you gotta be so fucking stupid? I'm like, oh, it's Bill Burr.
but he basically gets killed by a mutated bear.
Mm-hmm.
And so Maximus takes over and steals his identity.
Just
Basically,
sits there and lets him die.
Oh, I would too. Dude,
Yeah.
the guy was like, look, when you get back, you're going to get crucified. You're going to freaking die.
They're going to kill you. Yeah.
They're going to hang you up. And I'd be like, well,
I guess I'll take my chances out here.
I guess you're not making it back then, buddy.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Go ahead, V.
Maximus is like the worst. I think he's a bad person.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. I think.
Do you think okay, so we need to back up a little bit.
Yeah.
So he's in the training camp basically, and he's being recruited to become a squire for one of the knights in armor. And there's like a battle going on amongst all the squires. They're like, okay, who's going to be the one who's chosen next? And his friend, I don't remember her name, but his friend, no, I disagree with you on that.
G.I. Jane.
It's not they. It's G.I. No, I did. Okay, listen. There's
okay, settle the fuck down.
There's a.
It's a girl with a short haircut in the military.
Yeah.
Move on.
Thank you. I got zero transgender nonsense out of that character whatsoever. It was never mentioned. She never came off like that.
Right.
She's the Red Priest did refer to them as they.
They did.
What are you talking about?
He used the proper pronoun.
Oh no!
I don't understand. Like, was he specifically talking about one person, or was he talking about the whole group?
No, he was talking about that specific person. It was when he was interrogating Maximus, and he referred to them as they very specifically.
It's true.
Shit.
True story. Sorry, man.
Well, other than that, I didn't notice anything. Yeah, I missed that line of dialogue, and I was like, "It's just a."
Let's get totally fucking derailed over it anyway.
Well, we have to bring it up.
Episode.
She's one in the scene. Anyway, she gets chosen to be the squire for the guy in armor. I'm gonna say she. I don't give a fuck. And when she's getting ready in the morning one day, she puts her boots on, but there's razor blades inside her boot, and it fucks her leg up. Like she cannot be the squire anymore. And the next person in line was him, but they think he did it, and it's never said. He looks surprised.
I think he totally did it.
And I was like, I don't know if he did that or not.
I feel like Maximus is just one of these guys who's trying to cheat his way through life because he's not a nice person. I'm 100% sure that he did the razor blades.
Okay.
You know, he let Titus die.
Well, that was an asshole,
he's just
though.
Fucking squire.
Yeah, but
he should. If he wasn't an asshole, he would have like used his training to try to save the guy.
Also, he's not a good squire.
No, he's terrible.
The squire that he gets to replace him because they think he died.
I guess,
oh Lord, Titus, what can I do to serve you? And Maximus shows up and he's like, oh, well, you're kind of a dick.
You know, he branded the squire that got sent in that he faked his way through and only told him his name afterward. You know, that's kind of a dick move, right? You're going to brand somebody and then tell him.
What? Are you a couple episodes ahead?
I think I might have had an episode.
Oh shit! Dude.
I'm sorry, but I thought that was important. But yeah, I just think I'm not having a stroke. I think Maximus.
Keep going.
I think Maximus is just.
He's just a piece of shit.
He's just a piece of shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
I'm still on the fence with him.
I don't
because I'm like
I think he makes ambiguously immoral choices. In life.
That's
and I don't think it makes a good squire.
It's interesting. I like that. I like where you're coming from.
I think he does things to further his own.
I totally would have killed Bill Burr though.
Yeah.
What's interesting about Maximus is that he has he was saved as a child by a knight of the Brotherhood of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
And so he always had this dream of like becoming a knight so he could protect people. And throughout the first 4 episodes, at least that we saw, like he always he'll be in situations where he knows that, the wise thing to do would be to basically run away or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he stands and fights. And so like he saved Lucy, he fought the ghoul.
Yeah.
He saved his squire, even though the squire was the guy who was like kind of picking on him when he was like at the camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like there are these moments where basically there are these ideas. And what's interesting is like Lucy as a vault dweller is kind of like the epitome of like
She's
what it means to be a good person in this post.
Yeah, like Americana, naive.
And then you have
person.
the ghoul who's on the opposite side where he's like the worst person.
Right.
And then you have Maximus in between where he's trying to decide which side does he fall on? Is he a good person or is he a surface dweller that just has no morals?
Now I'm okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, we have the good, the bad, and the
ugly.
So Maximus is supposed to be the neutral guy that we're not supposed to know if he did it or doesn't or really gives a shit about anybody but himself. And that's what I get from him.
I get so
I just don't.
Once he gets the armor in like episode 2 I think it's episode 2. He has this idea of what being a knight in the what is it, Brotherhood of Iron? Brotherhood of Steel is. He has this idea of what it's going to be, but he realizes the reality of it is these guys are pieces of shit. And he rejects that. And he wants to be like the quintessential knight in shining armor who goes and just runs around and Robin Hoods and helps people and does all the good stuff. So I think he has an idea of what he wants to do, but the way he's getting to it is a little messed up.
Probably.
But I think overall, if you were to like have I don't know, there's a meter in the game sometimes where you're like a good versus bad person. I think he's leaning more on the good side.
Yeah, but so the storylines going on the show, you have Lucy who's searching for her kidnapped father. You have Maximus who's basically been who took over the identity of like Titus and is trying to complete the mission that was given to him. And then you have the ghoul who he's like a bounty hunter, but at the same time, he has a very integral backstory with like what happened that led to the apocalypse.
Can we talk about Walton Goggin for a minute?
Sure.
Dude, I fucking love this guy. He's good in everything. He is as the ghoul in the post-apocalyptic, like 200 years in the future. Amazing. He's really good at playing that kind of crazy little skewed cowboy, right? He did it in Django Unchained. He's got that character down. He did it in Hateful Eight. But his previous, before the apocalypse, that whole storyline where he becomes the face of Vault Tech and he's like doing he's the one who came up with that. I fucking love it. I know it's not necessarily game accurate. They're kind of playing around a little bit. I don't know if that's following exactly how the Vault Tech history went and all that stuff, but it is so fascinating to see this character, like a Hollywood actor who's like selling his soul to make money and to do the thing. And he's like working for Vault Tech now, whatever. And he hates it and he doesn't like what he's become. And then there's gaps. I know they're going to fill it in later in the season, but right now there's a big gap in the middle of the story where we don't know everything.
I love how they're using his story to fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
And give us the backstory.
It's so good. And then, because the idea,
his character is just intriguing because, he's the ghoul, the actor. 200. He's 200 years old now.
Yeah.
So us learning about why and how and this guy exists, and it's pretty cool.
The reason why he feels the way he does as a ghoul is because he knows. Like I almost feel like he has like a weight of responsibility on him for causing the world around him, and he's just like, oh, shit. Like I feel like he feels guilty about it. I may be wrong. I may be completely off base, but I feel like his actions working for Vault Tech in the past is a direct relation to what the world looks like right now.
Totally disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, talk to me. Tell me why.
So I think that his humanity has just been stripped away. When shit went down, he was like the face of the vaults. He was going through some rough times. They didn't really talk about it yet up until like I've only seen the first 4 episodes.
Yeah, same.
So they haven't really gone into like what was going on. I assume he was going through a divorce or something. And he takes his daughter and he rides off into the sunset to try to escape the fallout. And obviously his daughter is dead. He becomes a ghoul and he was the face of all of the vaults. He didn't get a vault. He had to just survive and be a surface dweller and watch his daughter die. And so all of his humanity has been stripped away. So people who got the privilege of surviving in a vault, fuck them. Because he didn't get to save his daughter.
Well, also, the fourth storyline is the vault conspiracy, which Lucy's brother is kind of like investigating.
Yeah.
They didn't reveal this in the show yet. I don't want to spoil it for Jude, but some fucked up shit happens with the vaults. And I cannot wait because it's just the type of conspiracy shit that you would love.
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
So when it comes to how accurate this thing is to the games.
Oh, wait, before you say that, please don't spoil it in the chat either, because I am watching the chat. And so please don't spoil anything for me. Please continue, babe.
So this show is so game accurate in terms of like its production design, its costumes.
It's gorgeous.
Its settings, its props, its creatures. Like, it's really impressive. It feels like I'm watching cutscenes from like a new Fallout video game. And this show is canon in the Fallout universe. And it happens on the West Coast in California. The previous games, I believe Fallout 3 was in Washington, D.C.
Yep. Fallout 2 was Boston.
Well, Fallout 76 was Boston.
76.
Or Appalachia or something like that. And then
there's New Vegas.
Yeah, so New Vegas. So in the Fallout universe, Vegas was the only place that didn't get ravaged by bombs. So it's like very much
a little hub.
Yeah,
it has electricity. People are cool. It's got like a dark underbelly to it. Like there's still like some mob influence happening
like
in Vegas. So like now Vegas. Yeah, it's basically the same.
And I believe that Fallout 4 was in Boston.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a version of Fallout in this TV show that we haven't seen in any of the games, and it is based in like Santa Monica and LA and Hollywood and stuff like that. So and this is all stuff that's going on concurrent with like Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 and
that's
stuff
cool.
like that in the universe. So we're getting to see an expansion on the Fallout lore from Bethesda. And it's a very, very interesting show so far. But they just nail the aesthetic. Like the stim packs in the game, you pop a stim pack
and you're good.
And
it doesn't matter what it is.
Like you can have like a bullet wound in your chest and it heals it.
Yeah.
But in the game, they have this kind of like targeting system that when you can target different parts of the enemy, and when you attack them, it's all slow motion. And they actually have this in the show where basically like at certain points, it goes into like the slow motion of like people like getting killed essentially. And that's right from the game.
Yeah.
Like they did a really good job of basically paying homage to the game and all this stuff. And the Brotherhood of Steel power armor looks like totally game accurate.
Yeah, that's another thing. So my wife, again, has no concept for the games or anything like that. She's watching this show and she's like, that armor looks so stupid. I'm like, I know, but it's super game accurate. Like it looks just like it does in the game.
And they have like rad roaches and like the vaults look just like they are.
Everything's there. I mean, there's Easter eggs galore in this show. And I think they really pay respect a lot to the source material, which we don't see very often these days.
I just installed New Vegas last night.
Did you?
On the computer.
I heard they're going to do a revamp of the fourth one. They're going to
I haven't played Fallout since like way back when, like the very first one.
Like when it's like a top view and you're just
I mean, so but everything I've seen of this, it looks gorgeous. It looks very game accurate. I don't know about the canon and the lore. I think there's some kind of controversy going on.
There's a bit, but I don't know enough.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know enough to really dog on it. I'm just watching it as a casual fan going like, oh yeah, I remember that. I'm not that hardcore of a fan where I know the lore enough to be able to talk about whatever the problem is. So. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, as we're watching it, Jude's constantly asking me, is this in the game? Is this
I want to know.
Most of it is. Yeah.
I want to know.
One of the aspects about this whole world that I think people really fall in love with is that like retro futuristic 1950s vibe, but they have technology that's way advanced than what we had, because in the lore of the entire universe, like during the 50s and 60s, our history, like real history, and then there's Fallout history. It like went
right.
They really embraced the nuclear age. Like everything was nuclear powered. That's how they got robots. That's how they got all these cars.
Cars were nuclear.
Everything was nuclear powered because they just really embraced that technology. So all that technology went way above and beyond what we had. But it was like TVs and random shit, and the style all kind of stagnated because all of the resources and energy went towards nuclear.
Culture basically stagnated.
Yeah. But that aesthetic is just so...
It's kind of cool.
It's so fun to kind of like play around in that sandbox.
Yeah,
and the show really leans in on that.
All the games and the TV show basically happened 200 years after the nukes decimated the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been like a couple of centuries removed, and it's kind of funny because like when you're watching the TV show, one of the joys of playing the Fallout games are all these little side quests that you go on. And the show kind of like with a wink and a nod has like these like little side quests that they incorporate into it.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a scene where Walton Goggins specifically, like he's like basically taking Lucy away after they lose the head of like the scientist guy.
Spoiler.
And
who's the head of the scientist guy?
Well, that's in the episode. That's in the 4th episode. We haven't talked about the scientist though. We need to break his story down too.
Yeah, but basically, Walton Goggins says something about how like there's always some bullshit that distracts you from like your goal, and then like he takes her to like this mega mart to trade her in for like some of his medicine, and that's like textbook side quest.
From
the game.
Oh, I'm low on my meds. I need to go.
Well, she says, you can't treat people like this. And he's like, why not? And she's like, because of the golden rule.
Oh, yeah.
Duh.
And he's like, up here on the surface, we have our own golden rule.
But
Thou shalt get distracted by every damn thing.
by everyday bullshit.
Yeah, but I love the juxtapose. Is that the right word? Juxtaposition for that. Because like he says, oh, fuck your stupid golden rule, man. Which leans into your theory about the whole, like he has no humanity left in him. But then when it comes to her and she, like the flip, I cannot talk. The script flips. She now has the upper hand and she treats him well. And she goes, golden rule, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And she gives him the medicine and then bounces. And I was like, that was such a great setup and payoff. I was like, that's freaking badass.
And
I loved it.
In this world, they have like robotics. So like robot like assistants and stuff like that. And when he trades her into the Mega Mart, this robot like fixes her finger and like, he has a British accent. He sounds very like welcoming. And she's
y'all
like,
know I love robots.
and she's like, oh man, I was afraid that I was gonna be traded in and you guys were gonna rape me. And he's like, oh no, I'm just gonna harvest your organs. And he like knocks her out.
Ooh, gets the sauce.
That's real.
And he's like, this won't hurt.
It was the robot tripped me out because when it first showed up, all of a sudden I thought I was watching the vampire show.
What we do in the shadows.
What we do in the shadows.
It's Andor, right?
Yes.
Oh, is it Andor?
Yeah,
oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, so there's one more thing that we need to talk about the doctor. His little quick storyline. They had a montage about him.
And his dog.
He works for the Enclave, I believe. Is that the right term?
Enclave.
I think. Yeah.
And the dog is straight from the video.
Straight from the video. Yeah. Gorgeous dog, by the way, too. He works for the Enclave. He's a scientist. They're training dogs. They're working with technology. I'm not 100% sure what they're doing or what the MacGuffin is that he put into his neck, which made him the high value target. It's a MacGuffin, like whatever it is.
It's the thing in his neck.
The thing in his neck. Yeah, it's the thing everybody wants.
It's the cure. It's the plan.
But they show a montage of him training this little dog, and he has a soft spot for the dog. Like, because again, this show's pretty brutal too. And I'm kind of glad my wife didn't see this part, but there was a scene where they have all these puppies and they're breeding these puppies and they stamp the little brand. This fucking doctor just straight up throws one into the furnace and you hear it go, "Rrr!" and it's just like, oh, holy shit. And then it just moves on. Shit happens, man. It's the wasteland, buddy.
Cutthroat world.
It was wild. I was like, holy shit. I did not expect him to do that.
And that was one of the, oh no.
Yeah.
Well, also, so like the way that this show is paced, it's actually a very quickly paced show. And there's a big fight scene in episode 2 where basically all the main characters come together and like fight the ghoul, essentially. And the dog, who was the protector and companion of the scientist, I think his name was WizKit or something like that.
I don't know.
So the dog attacks the ghoul, and the ghoul in self-defense basically takes his huge machete and just stabs it in the side. And that was another Jude, oh no moment.
Not the dog.
Yeah. So we thought the dog was dead, but after the dust settles and the fight's over, the ghoul sees that the dog is like still alive. And so he just puts a stim pack on it, and the dog just stands up. He's like,
stand back.
And so the dog becomes the ghoul's companion for a short period of time.
Yeah.
Because he wants to find his daddy.
Yeah.
Okay, so the doctor, he's got the MacGuffin. He ends up getting he gets his leg shot off by the ghoul because they all kind of like meet in Philly, which is a city. I don't know. I was really confused as to what, because I haven't played the game. So I'm like, Philly. I'm like, Philadelphia? I thought they were on the West Coast. Like, I was super confused there for a minute, but I don't know what Philly is or where it might be. But
it's Hollywood.
Philly is Hollywood?
Yeah.
That's a stupid name. They all meet in this little town. And
because that's where all the Phillies are.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know what that means. The ghoul shoots the doctor's leg, and it's like brutal. But one of the things about the technology and the nuclear age and all that stuff, the funniest part of this whole bit is like this dude's leg is gone. Like it is missing. And this old woman at this shop just pulls out, what is it? Jimmy's
new leg
or something like that.
It's like, I need a new foot.
It was like Jimmy's limbs or something like that, or whatever it was. But it's the goofiest, funniest Fallout name for like a prosthetic limb. But it's a bucket, and she puts it over his stump, and then it like it grinds, and it just like chews its way into his leg, and then it like pops out a little foot. And you're like, there you go, you're fixed. He's like hobbling around on this metal foot. It was the jankiest shit. It was so gruesome and terrible, but it leans into that world of Fallout that it's just like, yeah, this is terrible and also kind of cool. He explains himself to Lucy, and he's like, look, I've already taken a poisonous pill. I'm going to die. I'm just going to drag you down. But the most important part is my head.
Yeah.
Leave my body, take my head. And then he dies.
Leave the gun.
And then
take the cannoli.
Yeah. And then Lucy, the girl, is just sitting there, and she goes, okie dokie. And she just rips his freaking head off and then carries it around and is taking it to wherever she needs to go.
He had
a bag.
A bag.
That's what my wife said. My wife was like, she has a bag.
Yeah.
Just put the head in a bag.
She's just walking around.
She's like, she criticized the show. She was like, oh, this is just for shock value. And I'm like, yeah, kind of.
Sure.
I mean, that is the type of thing that would happen in the game, though.
Yeah, 100%. I don't have a bag. Got to carry this thing by the hair.
What if it's bald? Then you carry like.
What if it's Kadish and you?
Yeah.
You hold it by the beard.
Yeah.
By the chin.
By the tongue.
What else were we talking about? Okay, we got the goal. There's another side. Oh, okay. So this is a story that I think you need to pay attention to. You might not be picking up on it yet because I haven't really talked about it. But the goofy cousin that was in love with Lucy in the beginning.
Yeah.
What was his name? Chet.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to Chet.
Yeah.
Because he's still in the vault. Mm-hmm. And him and Lucy's brother are going to start uncovering some weird shit.
Yeah.
They haven't leaned into it yet, but they're going to start. So
I'm very interested in what really happened to Vault 32.
The vault shit.
Also, I love the best friend who's pregnant.
She's hilarious.
Hilarious.
Dude, I am waiting for her to be like Quentin Tarantino. What's the chick's name from Kill Bill? The one with the eye patch.
Oh, you want her to be a badass?
Yeah.
L?
What's her code name though? She has a code name.
Black Mamba?
No, Black Mamba's Kill Bill.
No, Black Mamba is Beatrix.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Black Mamba. I should have been Black Mamba.
Exactly. That's the other lady. God damn it. Chat, help me out.
Is it Viper?
Is it Viper? That sounds right. But Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2, girl with the eye patch,
I know her name's Ellie Driver.
Ellie Driver.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up.
Anyway,
I'm looking it up.
I want that blonde chick from the vault to be her. Like, I am waiting for it. Because you saw when her vault was getting attacked.
With the eye patch?
Yes. Yeah. When her vault was getting attacked and she would, like, her husband died, she went psycho.
She had like a fork in her eye?
Yeah, she had a fork in her eye and she was just murdering people. And I'm like, oh, okay.
While pregnant.
While pregnant.
It was funny. So, like, she dresses Chet up in a lot of her husband's clothes. And, she's still mourning him. So, like, she's like making Chet into her husband.
Yeah, she's a little crazy.
And California mountain snake.
And that's a stupid name.
They start having sex.
Yeah.
And Chet's like, oh, you're so wet. And then she's like, oh. And then like,
the water breaks.
Oh my God, I forgot about that part. That is terrifying. Holy shit. I can't say because my wife might be watching.
Is it like a flashback for you?
No, but it's like, man, like that is one of my worst fears. Okay, I've got 3 kids, and there's a period of time where I'm like, this is a no-go zone. No. Nope. Hard pass. Sorry, babe. I love you, but not gonna happen. And it's because of that.
But I love how funny it was that she's like putting her husband's shit on him, and she's like, oh, Bert.
You look great.
Oh, Bert.
Yeah. So they're not cousins.
Bert,
are they not cousins?
I think everybody's related down there.
Maybe.
Well, the vault.
I don't think so, because she and Lucy were just friends.
Yeah,
she didn't say you're my cousin or anything.
According to vault lore that I've been watching and learning about this week, like there's 1,000 people per vault, and I'm like 1,000 people. That's a pretty good gene pool. Like But it has been 200 years, so maybe everybody's kind of like weird second cousins. Who knows? I don't know.
Also, out of all the vault dwellers, like Lucy was probably the hottest one down there.
I don't know. The blonde's pretty hot. Yeah. Is there only 2 women? Oh, another thing. Again, I'm gonna put this on my wife because she has no context for the games or anything like that. And
I don't either, though.
But she's like, she was watching this, and the fat dude in the vault, who's like the guy who's like trying to get into the top tier, like he's trying to be the mayor or whatever the fuck they're called.
The brown guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, there's no way he'd be fat. It's like they're in a post-apocalyptic world in a vault.
That is
why is this guy fat?
I mean, we all saw Lost, and there was a fat guy on that too.
No, what it was is, so the character Kyle MacLachlan plays Lucy's dad. He was the vault overseer.
Thank you.
He was so good at his job that they were basically like on Easy Street there. They had plenty of food.
Okay.
Like you saw that part where they brought like Jell-O cake to the prisoners.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You know, so like, yeah, there are fat, soft, stupid people in that vault because they had it so easy.
They are so ill-equipped to have prisoners.
Oh, they don't know what to do.
Yeah, well,
they're trying to be nice to him.
They're like, I'll teach them calculus.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was so funny. So they're having like a committee meeting inside the vault after they capture all of the bad people, all the raiders or whatever, and they've got them locked away.
By the way, fucking how?
That's a great question. That's a great question. Chet must have done all of it.
Yeah.
But they're like, they locked them all up, and they're like, well, now we have to figure out what to do with them because we can't just leave them out there. Let's try and rehabilitate them.
Yeah.
And then they start raising their hand. I'll teach them calculus. Oh, I'll teach them how to sew. And it's just like the dumbest shit.
And the brother's like, let's just fucking kill him.
Yeah,
that's right.
I love it.
And everybody's like, clutching their pearl.
How dare you? And he's like, no, fuck those people.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the water guy comes in and he's like, by the way, we have about 2 months left of water.
That's a direct thing to the game. Like, I think almost all of the games have a thing where you have to go find the water chip for the vault.
Okay.
It's like a staple.
The plot of the first game was like, you had to go and because like the water chip broke.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that filters all the water so you can drink it. And so like one person had to leave the vault to find a replacement for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm sitting there watching that. I'm like, did Vault 31 have an extra like water chip they could just pull out?
Maybe we'll find out. That's a good question though. That's a plot hole if they don't fix that one.
I shouldn't have watched ahead because I'm afraid everything I'm going to say.
I'm
going to ruin.
I stopped for very much on purpose. I stopped. I wanted to keep going. So we're going to talk about the second half of the show next week. But I do want to say like our general thoughts on this. I know there's some controversy going on about the show. A lot of people have different opinions and stuff. My opinion is, checkboxes are marked, but it is not. They're not bludgeoning you over the head with it. By any means. I don't think anything in this show is like, freaking think this way, asshole, or you're a bigot. There's nothing like that. I never once got those vibes. I didn't even know that the chick was supposed to be transgender in that first part. I'm like, it's a chick in the army. She has a shaved head. Fuck off.
She has a mustache, dude.
You know what, man? It's the post-apocalyptic.
I'd love to see you shaving your legs in the post-apocalypse.
Thank you. My wife is Latin. She's got dark hair.
Upper lip.
Wow.
If my wife didn't wax, she'd probably have a mustache.
Dude.
Chicks with dark hair have hair, man. It is a thing. Talk to a fucking Latin chick. Tell me how often they wax.
I just waxed my chin last night. It's like, you think this just fucking happens?
She has a mustache on her lip. Okay. It's a fucking shadow, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking chill.
I think you're looking for it now, and that doesn't need to be.
No, it was like a half a second character that like they're not.
I don't even know why you brought it back up because now we're talking about it.
I don't know. I should.
But honestly, I don't know what show you guys were watching because the one I watched, I just saw a full on tranny in the army. So I think you're putting the blinders on a little bit. Hard.
I was wondering because I heard people like, oh,
it's absolutely there. It's an Amazon thing.
I didn't see it.
And I just go, oh, it's 200 years in the mutated future. Sure, there's going to be some trannies.
They're here now.
So there you are.
I don't know, man. I didn't get a thing out of it. I was like, oh, that what they were talking about? No, whatever. I'm with Jude. I was like, fuck, it doesn't even matter. But other than that, little hiccup, I guess, if you want to call it that. I have no problems with the show. I think it's great. I think I'm having a ton of fun.
Yeah.
The writing is on point. The characters are cool. The chick who's the main character is adorable and naive and not a Mary Sue in any shape or form.
Mm-hmm.
Like she gets her ass kicked a lot. She has no idea what she's doing. She's stumbling through the wasteland, just kind of like.
Did you know the actual actress is British?
I saw that comment. I did not. So she puts on an American accent really well.
Well, I think Walton Goggins had no idea that she was actually British.
Nice.
Oh, really?
He was like acting with her. And then when he found out after they were done wrapped, he was like, wow.
Yeah. Awesome. Good for her.
But we haven't spoken enough about Walton Goggins.
No, we haven't.
Oh, he's amazing. Dude,
he's carrying the show.
Well, he's good in everything he does.
Yeah.
Like we have yet to see a Walton Goggins performance that was not amazing. He was the assassin in Fat Man.
Mm-hmm.
He was in The Shield. He's been in
Righteous Gemstones,
Vice Principals. He was in Predators, Bitch Rape.
Oh yeah, that's 5 o'clock. Bitch Raping Time.
Bitch Raping Time.
Bitch Raping Time.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and he elevates everything he's in.
Yeah,
and this role, like you get to see so many different facets of it. Like you get to see the vain actor, you get to see the loving father and husband, you get to see like the badass bounty hunter. Like he's just playing things so like versatile.
Yeah,
like he really is the standout on this show.
Oh yeah, when they nailed him as a main character in the show, fucking good job.
Yeah,
Walton Goggins awesome. Yeah, I have no issues with the show. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I almost didn't want to stop watching because I was like, I committed to 4 episodes at minimum for the podcast, but I'm like, I was real itchy to finish the whole season. Like it got me. I'm like, I need to find out what happens next.
You know what's weird about this show is Amazon decided to drop it all at once.
Yeah.
As opposed to their usual week-to-week model. Do you think people would be as into it if we just got 1 episode?
Oh, I think people get more into it. Which we're going to talk about that in our live stream for the members only in a little bit. We're going to debate on the binge, but I think this show would massively benefit from a week-to-week drop. I really don't know why they decided to do the binge model because it's going to be out of the culture. It's going to be out of the news, out of the culture in 2 weeks.
Because they have video game tie-ins that have been around for decades and have hardcore fan bases of it. This is something that basically it's going to be like The Boys, in my opinion. It's going to have like an enduring fan base. People are going to be interested about it. There's going to be a lot of tie-ins, like with books and
yeah. But don't they release The Boys week to week?
Well, they released the first 3 episodes and then they go week to week.
And that's not a bad model either, because the first 3 episodes
get you hooked.
Are the ones that get you hooked, and you string them along.
That's how they get you. It's like dealing drugs. You know what I mean? You give the first one for free.
It's free.
You gotta wait. And you gotta wait for the rest.
You like that shit?
So
I do like that shit.
So needless to say, you're in for the next.
I'm in. Yeah, I'm in. Okay. I was really unsure because I'm not a fan of the games, and I was really worried that the show would be the typical freaking Wheels of Power or Rings of whatever the hell. But it's not. I don't think it is anyway. I disagree with you guys on that thing. But I mean, that's it. That's it. I think it's great. Go check it out.
Even talking about that thing, it's not something that like it took me out of the show for like a little bit, but then it was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I expect some of that, and then I just moved on. This wasn't as battle-breedy as it could have been.
Oh, it could have been.
I didn't care, and I like the other characters in the show.
Yeah.
Well,
Amazon does this thing with their shows. I think it has a lot to do with who's creating the show, not necessarily Amazon itself.
Probably.
Because if you look at like Terminalist with Chris Pratt, there's nothing like that in there, right? It's just like straight military, yay, pro-America. It's all there. And that show's great. I love that show. Mm-hmm. And then you got stuff like Rings of Power. It's awful. So I don't want to pin the whole thing.
And I forgot about Rings of Power.
It's bad. Like I don't want to pin the whole thing on Amazon Studios because I think they just kind of let the creators go and do their thing.
It's even worse is Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Power, Rings of Time, whatever the fuck this 2 garbage shows are. But yeah, I think I'm in, man. I would recommend people check this movie out or show. It's a lot of fun. Even if you're not a fan of the games, it's still a freaking good show to get into.
It's inspiring me to want to play the game.
Kind of is. Yeah.
It's like I told you earlier. I installed New Vegas last night.
Yeah.
I'm going to at least give it a shot and play for a little while, see how it goes.
I own Fallout 4, but I only got like maybe 20 hours into it. Yeah. And I just kind of, whatever. I don't know. I should probably try and pick it up again.
I wish I had more to say today, but you guys are like right there with my same train of thought. I enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how this season ends. And I hope it's not lame because I really want there to be more shows like this. I believe that having game accurate entertainment and shows like this will breed more if we can support them.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
And there's a lot of games out there that would make a lot of really cool.
You're like, oh, why did Fallout succeed? Because you fucking follow the source material.
Yeah.
And that's something for someone like me that has no frame of reference for the game, knowing that the people who do play the games are like geeking out over how accurate it is to the source material just warms my little heart.
Nice. I wanted to get a 6-pack of Nuke Cola for the table today.
Right?
I never got around to it. Maybe I'll try to do it for next week. It'll be fun.
Nuka
Cola.
I hope they put out some cool merch in that.
Yeah. I want
Fallout motif.
Yeah.
Some stuff like that would be really fun to have.
It's also funny because in the Fallout games, there's like this collection side quest where you have to find bobbleheads around the wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
And the more of those you find, the more it increases your stats. And when you're watching the TV show, they just in the background, you can see like all these little bobbleheads.
Yeah. Is there one in every episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I cut the shit out of my finger the other day. I could really use a stem pack. I would like some for at home.
Yeah. Those stem packs are dope.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get to some super chats if everybody's satisfied. Kadish, do you want to do any final thoughts on the show?
I'm pleasantly surprised by the show. The first 3 episodes were bangers, in my opinion. I'm really liking all the storylines, and I can't wait to see how the season ends. So far, if I just had to go off the last 4 episodes, or I should say the first 4 episodes, I would be recommending this show to people.
Yeah. Cool. Nice. Jude, did I get to you? Right? I didn't miss you, did I?
I mean, I concur.
Okay.
I'm into it. I have no history with this as far as the game. I don't know what anything's supposed to look like. I love hearing that it looks like how it's supposed to look like, because you know I'm a stickler for like paying respect.
Yeah.
To
oh yeah, you really
material.
are. Like you dislike shows that were like, yeah, it's good. You're like, fuck
so
you.
Even as someone who doesn't know the source material at all, like I still want that for the people who love it, and I'm glad that they're being respectful of the source material. Nice. I'm super in. I love it.
Hey folks, if you like this video, be sure to watch this one next. And if you want to see the full episode of this podcast, click right here.